Story 1. Banned my boyfriend because he's too perfect. I 32M never thought I'd be posting here about my friend Emma's wedding, but last weekend turned into a total mess, and I'm still reeling. For context, Emma 30F and I have been friends since college, over a decade of late-night talks, group trips, and supporting each other through breakups and career changes. So when she got engaged to her fiancé, now husband Mark 33M, I was genuinely thrilled for her. I RSVP'd the second I got the invite, excited to celebrate her big day. But then I noticed something weird. I didn't get a +1. I've been with my boyfriend, Jake 30M, for almost 2 years. It's the healthiest, happiest relationship I've ever had. Jake's met Emma a bunch of times at barbecues, game nights, even a double date once, and I always thought they got along great. He's charming, but not in a fake way. He's just a warm, funny guy who makes people feel at ease. So when I saw the invite was just for me, I was confused. I texted Emma casually like, "Hey, no +1 for Jake? Just checking." She replied that it was a budget thing and they were only giving +1s to married couples. Okay, fine. It stung a little. 2 years isn't nothing, but it's her wedding. Her rules. I let it go. Fast forward to the wedding. I show up in my best suit, ready to celebrate. The venue's gorgeous. Emma looks stunning, and I'm genuinely happy for her. But within 20 minutes, I notice something's off. A guy from our college friend group, Tom Single as Hell, is there with a random Tinder date. Then I spot another friend, Sarah, with a guy she's been seeing for maybe 2 months. I start doing a mental head count. Half the people, under 35, seem to have dates, married or not. My stomach drops. Did Emma lie to me? I try to brush it off and enjoy the night, but it gets worse. People keep asking, "Where's Jake?" or "Didn't Jake want to come?" I'm stuck mumbling awkward excuses. Oh, he had a thing while feeling like an idiot. By the time dinner rolls around, I'm quietly fuming. Then, during the cocktail hour, I pull aside our mutual friend Lisa, who's always been the group's gossip hub, and ask if she knows what's up. She hesitates, then spills everything. Apparently, Emma's been low-key salty about Jake for months. Lisa says Emma's made comments like, "Jake's too perfect, it's annoying," and Mark looks like a schlub next to him. She even told Lisa once that Jake's charm made her feel insecure about her relationship because Mark's more reserved and not as shiny. Lisa says Emma didn't invite Jake because she didn't want him stealing the spotlight at her wedding. I'm floored. Jake's not some attention-hogging narcissist. He's just a nice guy who happens to be good with people. The idea that Emma, my friend of 10+ years, would exclude him out of petty jealousy, it's insane. I spend the rest of the night spiraling. Every time someone asks about Jake, it's like a knife twist. During the speeches, I'm barely listening, too busy replaying every interaction Emma and Jake ever had, wondering how I missed this. By the time dinner ends, I'm done. I can't fake it anymore. I don't want to make a scene, so I decide to slip out before the dancing starts. I send Emma a quick text. "Congrats again. You looked amazing. Heading out early. Have a great night," and leave. The next morning, I wake up to a novel-length text from Emma. She's pissed. She says I ruined her vibe by leaving early, that it was rude to dip without saying goodbye in person, and that I made her feel like a bad host. I'm stunned she's mad at me. I text back. I found out why Jake wasn't invited. I didn't feel welcome after that. She fires back immediately. "Wow, you're making my wedding about you. I didn't want Jake there because he's too much. Everyone fawns over him, and I didn't need that on my day. You're overreacting." I'm overreacting? She basically admitted she banned my boyfriend because she's jealous of how likable he is. I told her it wasn't about him stealing anything. It was about her lying to me and making me feel like my relationship didn't matter. She doubled down, saying I was selfish for not sucking it up for her one special day. Then she hit me with, "If you can't handle my choices, maybe we're not as close as I thought." Now I'm second-guessing everything. Jake's hurt too. He didn't expect this from Emma and feels bad that I got caught in the middle. Lisa's texting me saying Emma's been venting to the group chat, I'm not in it, apparently about how I abandoned her. Some friends are on her side, saying I should have stayed and talked to her later. Others think she's being ridiculous. I don't know what to do. Confront her again? Let it go? Hate her for leaving the wedding early? Story 2. Siblings who rejected me now want me to claim them. So, I 25M am what you might call a double affair baby. Yeah, you heard that right. Both my mum and dad were married to other people, decided to spice up their lives by cheating on their spouses, and boom, I was the result. They torched their first marriages, got divorced, and tied the knot with each other to raise me. Romantic, right? Except it's not, because they're kids from those first marriages. My half-siblings hate my guts and have made it crystal clear. I'm not part of their little club. Growing up, I could feel their hostility like a slap to the face every time they were around. By the time I was 9, they'd all moved out, and I only saw them a handful of times after that. The last time was 7 years ago, and let me tell you, it was a delight. One of them literally told me the world would have been better if I'd never been born, or better yet, if I'd died. Another one just stared at me like I was a stain on the carpet and said, "You're not my brother. You're not my family." Cool, cool, message received. Because of all this, I've decided to live my life like I'm an only child. When people ask, that's what I say: no siblings, half or otherwise. It's cleaner that way. I don't have some hallmark bond with these people. We share DNA, and that's it. Honestly, if I were bleeding out on the side of the road, I'm pretty sure they'd step over me and keep walking while posting a selfie captioned #goodriddance. So yeah, I don't claim them, and I don't see why I should. Fast forward to now, I'm engaged to this amazing woman, let's call her Sarah, 26F, and here's where the drama kicks into high gear. Turns out Sarah's the cousin of a guy I used to be best friends with growing up. Let's call him Jake, 27M. Jake and I were tight until junior year of high school, when he morphed into a total asshole. He started trash talking me behind my back, ditched me for the cool crowd, and our friendship imploded. Whatever, I moved on. Years later, I met Sarah through mutual friends, and we hit it off. She knows my whole messy backstory, and is 100% on board with me calling myself an only child. She's got her own beef with Jake anyway. He's apparently the family jerk, so she didn't bat an eye when I told her about my no-siblings stance. I didn't even realize she and Jake were cousins until we'd been dating for a while. Small world, right? Here's where it gets juicy. In the last couple of months, Jake started showing up at Sarah's family gatherings, probably because he heard we're engaged and wants to stir the pot. At the last 2 parties, he's made it his mission to call me out in front of everyone about how I claim to be an only child. He never cared about this back when we were friends, but now he's acting like I've committed some cardinal sin. Picture this. We're at a barbecue, people are laughing and eating, and Jake, loud enough for the whole yard to hear, goes, "Oh yeah, this guy loves pretending he's an only child." What a liar. So childish. I just stared at him like, really, dude? Sarah jumped in and told him to mind his own business, but he kept smirking like he'd won something. I didn't even dignify it with a response. I just grabbed another drink and walked away, but it's been eating at me. Why does he care so much now? Then there's my extended family piling on. I've been no contact with my parents for a while, whole other drama. Let's just say they're not winning any awards for emotional support, but I've got a few aunts, uncles, and cousins who've started chiming in. They've noticed I don't mention my half-siblings when family comes up, and they're not happy about it. One aunt cornered me at a recent wedding and was like, "You need to stop pretending they don't exist. What if they come around someday? You're going to look stupid if you've been telling people you're an only child, and then suddenly they're in your life." I told her straight up, they don't claim me. They've told me to my face I'm not their family. Why should I count them? She just huffed and said I was being petty and holding a grudge. Another cousin chimed in with, "Family's family, blood is blood. You can't just erase that." Oh, really? Tell that to the half-sister who said she wished I'd died. Here's the kicker. Jake's apparently been talking to some of these relatives behind my back. Sarah overheard him at the last party telling her uncle that I'm delusional and living in a fantasy world by not acknowledging my half-siblings. I don't know if he's trying to sabotage me with her family or if he's just bored and looking for drama, but it's starting to feel like a coordinated attack. Sarah's furious. She's ready to uninvite him from the wedding entirely, but I'm torn. On one hand, I don't want him there smirking through the whole ceremony. On the other, kicking him out might just fuel his narrative that I'm some immature liar who can't handle the truth. So now I'm stuck. Do I keep doing what I've always done? Claim I'm an only child and let the haters hate? Do I start awkwardly explaining my half-siblings to people just to avoid the liar label? Or do I go full petty and start airing all the dirty laundry, like how my half-brother once accidentally locked me in a shed for 3 hours when I was 6? Or how Jake used to cry like a baby when he lost at video games? I'm leaning toward the last one, because if they want drama, I can give it to them. What do you think, Reddit? Am I the asshole for sticking to my only child story? Should I just suck it up and play nice with Jake and my family? Or should I go nuclear and let the chaos unfold? Story 3. My family chose my psychotic brother over me now. They want me back. All right, let's dive into this absolute whirlwind of a story and expand it in true Reddit drama fashion. Buckle up, because this is going to get messy, emotional, and raw. Here's the expanded version of your tale, written as if it's a fresh post on a subreddit like ATA. Am I the Asshole? With all the gritty details, internal monologues, and moral ambiguity that keeps the commenters hooked. Title: ATA for cutting off my parents and extended family after they enabled my violent brother for years, even after he got arrested. Trigger warning: physical abuse, violence, family dysfunction. This is a long one, so bear with me. I need to get this off my chest. I, 19M, ran away from home 2 years ago when I was 17, and I haven't looked back since. Well, I tried not to look back, but my family keeps dragging me into their chaos like I'm still tethered to their sinking ship. To give you the full picture, I need to start from the beginning, and I'm warning you now, this is going to be heavy. If family violence or abuse triggers you, maybe skip this one. Growing up, my house wasn't a home, it was a war zone, and my older brother, now 22M, was the dictator calling the shots. He's 3 years older than me, but the gap might as well have been a lifetime because he towered over me in every way, physically, emotionally, and in the eyes of our parents. He was a terror from as far back as I can remember. At school, he was the kid who screamed at teachers, flipped desks, and got suspended so often they probably had a file cabinet just for him. In the neighborhood, he was the one smashing windows, picking fights, and dodging cops. Everyone knew he was unhinged, but outside the house, he kept the violence, verbal yelling, threatening, storming off. Inside, that's where the mask came off. At home, he was a monster. I don't say that lightly. He didn't just bully me, he tortured me. I've lost count of how many times he tried to break my arm easily, over 100. He'd pin me down, his knees digging into my chest so I couldn't breathe, and twist my arm until I screamed, or he'd yank it behind my back and push until I thought it'd snap. One time, he twisted it so hard I blacked out from the pain, and a neighbor banged on the door because my screams carried through the walls. My parents, they told the neighbor I'd fallen and sent them away. I was 12. He had this rock gun, some cheap pellet thing, and he'd use it like a toy to torment me. He'd sneak into my room at night while I was dead asleep and shoot me point blank. The sting would jolt me awake, and I'd see him standing there, grinning like it was a game. One time, he aimed for my face and chipped my front tooth. My parents said it was my fault for provoking him. I still have the chip. It's a permanent reminder. Then there was the trampoline. We had one in the backyard, and it was his personal arena. He'd either drag me onto it and bounce until he could land on me, kicking me in the face or ribs, or he'd wait until I was walking by and leap off it, tackling me to the ground. I'd hit the dirt so hard I'd see stars, and he'd laugh while I gasped for air. He headbutted me 24 times until my nose bled or my vision blurred. He spat in my face constantly, at least 30 times over the years, and a few times he'd pin me down and spit into my mouth while I gagged and begged him to stop. The knives came out 3 times. Once, he held one to my throat because I wouldn't give him my game controller. Another time, he waved it in my face, daring me to try something. The third time, he pressed it against my stomach and said he'd gut me like a fish if I told our parents about the latest beating. I didn't tell them, they wouldn't have cared anyway. He kicked me in the groin so often I'd limp for days, slammed my head into walls, stomped on my chest, and once dragged me down the stairs, grabbing my legs and pulling me. So I hit every step, twisting my ankle if I tried to grab the railing. I still flinch when I hear footsteps behind me. He wasn't just violent with me, he terrorized our parents too. He spat in their faces all the time, like it was nothing. One time, Dad asked him to finish his homework, and my brother stared him down for a solid minute before hocking a loogie right into his eyes. He threatened them with knives more than me, 5 times that I know of. He tried to shove Dad down the stairs once, only stopped because Dad caught the banister. He slapped them across the face like they were disobedient kids, and once he grabbed a pot of boiling water and lunged at Mom because she didn't cook dinner fast enough. She dodged it, but the water hit the floor, and I can still hear her screaming. You'd think parents would do something called the cops, get him help, protect their other kid. Nope. They enabled him. They excused it all. He's troubled, they'd say. He's our baby boy. The worst part, when he was 15, he told them he wanted a gun to keep me in line, and they bought it for him. A real gun. Not a pellet toy, a freaking firearm. I remember the day he brought it home, waving it around like a trophy while I hid in my room, barricading the door with my dresser. That was the moment I knew I was on my own. I begged them to send him away military school, juvie, anywhere, but they refused. He'd be killed if we sent him somewhere, they said. We can't lose our son. What about me? I was their son too, but I guess I didn't count. I stuck it out for 2 more years, until I turned 17 and couldn't take it anymore. I packed a bag, climbed out my window and ran. I crashed with friends, worked odd jobs, and eventually got my own place. I kept in touch with some extended family, aunts, uncles, cousins, because I didn't want to lose everyone. I made it clear I wouldn't go back, but I didn't cut them off entirely. Big mistake. A few weeks ago, my brother got arrested. I don't know the details, my extended family wouldn't say, just that it was serious. Suddenly, my parents had my number, thanks, cousins, and started blowing up my phone. Dad called first, his voice all shaky like he was the victim, asking me to come home and be there for them. I lost it. What the fuck are you calling me for? I yelled. How did you even get my number? I blocked them, but they kept finding ways, new numbers, emails, texts. I responded a few times, furious, telling them I didn't give a shit about their sob story and I wasn't coming back. I cursed them out, called them every name in the book. And yeah, I was brutal. I'd never talked to anyone else like that, but these weren't parents to me anymore. They chose him over me years ago, and that gun was the final nail. My extended family got wind of it and flipped out. They said I was too harsh, that my parents were grieving, and I didn't need to kick them when they're down. I told them they betrayed me by giving out my info, and when they kept defending my parents, I said I was done with them too. I blocked them all, every aunt, uncle, cousin. Scorched earth. Then yesterday I got a handwritten letter in the mail, yep. Extended family gave them my address too. My parents wrote this long, guilt-trippy sob story about how I'm unfair and don't understand what it's like to be a parent. They said my words were cruel beyond measure, that I owe them an apology, and that I should work on repairing our family. I laughed, then cried, then threw it in the trash. My therapist says I'm justified, but I can't shake this tiny voice asking if I'm the asshole here. So, Reddit, Eta, did I go too far with my parents? Or are they delusional for thinking I owe them anything after they let my brother terrorize me and armed him to do it?